Hey everyone, Steve here with a look at the HY2M Gouf. So this is a 1/60 scale model kit made by Bandai. It was released in 2003 and it retailed for originally 12,000 yen, but at the moment this kit is extremely hard to find, and the ones on like eBay are selling for $300 or almost $300, which is absurd. So if you ever find a really good deal on this kit, pick it up. Don't hesitate. Alright, so let's take a quick look at the box. On the front you get a giant picture of the Gouf, and they are clearly showing many lit parts. Over here we've got the fully movable 1/60 scale with 9 LED, 15 points of backlighting. Here on the side we get a front and back picture. Over here we've got the lighting points, the eye, mono eye, we get the cockpit lit, we get the backpack, the rocket fingers. It does come with a second arm, so if you don't want these fixed post fingers, you could swap it out for a movable set. The little side verniers over here and the foot verniers. Over here we've got the weapons. We get the electric shock. We get the bazooka, and that looks great. That actually has a lot of detail. Side, same pictures on the front. On the other side, more weapon pictures, action poses, and they're also advertising the Dom, another kit in this series. So let's crack this guy open. And as we open this up, we get an extremely thick manual. Wow. So we get a total of 46 pages for the manual, and these are very large, thick pages. Now most of this has to do with the fact that there's a lot of wiring that's needed for this kit. So it's going to go through a detailed description of how to wire up everything as you're building it. So one thing I've been told about this kit is that it's not for beginners. Here we can see kind of the complexity of the wiring. We've got multiple series to wire up. and it doesn't help that it's not in English. You get multiple switches. I'm assuming one is for like the eyes and cockpit, and the other one is probably for the verniers. So let's look at the manual. Now for decals, you get a huge sheet of dried transfers, actually. These are not stickers. Now for parts, you get 3 compartments. You get 2 very large bags of LEDs and wires and resistors, switches and stuff. And the second bag is screws. Lots and lots and lots of screws. Luckily, these are all individually bagged and labeled, making it a lot easier to find the correct size screw. It looks like there's a combination of 3mm, 5mm LEDs. The wires are pre-crimped or pre-stripped. There are 2 switches. And I think we actually get a little circuit board. And we get several bags of pre-stripped wires, and we get a bunch of battery connectors. And now for a look at the parts. In this runner we get the shield, and these parts look like the thigh armor. Here we get the head. This is the bottom piece, this is the top piece, and a couple other parts of the head, the commander crown, or the commander horn. More parts to the head here. These parts are pretty plain and probably could use a little bit of panel lining. Another part of the shield. This is molded in like a navy blue, and this is like a very true blue. Parts of the cockpit and chest armor. There's some panel lining here and some finer detail in there as well. Here we get the skirt armor, side parts, the front armor here, and this could also use a little bit of panel lining. Here's the rear skirt armor and parts to the side, or the front skirt armor as well. Here we get the hands. This is the fixed posed hand. Here is the articulated hand. Looks like there's just one articulated hand set. here are parts of the inner frame, and these parts are noticeably a lot heavier. This is a very, very thick plastic. A lot of these parts are actually like solid chunks of plastic. The way these are engineered is that there's channels and holes and stuff so that you can easily run the wires through the parts and around like joints and stuff. We get, looks like two identical runners of these. These are ABS plastic. And in this section we get more inner frame parts, two of these identical K runners. Again, these are very thick, heavy plastic parts. A lot of screw holes in these parts. Here are the weapon parts. This is for the EMP whip weapon. These are the ventilation hosing parts. And we get two identical A runners, which have the foot armor, the forearm armor, and the leg armor and shoulder. So these are very massive parts, and again, lacking in some detail and could benefit from some panel lining. And we get two of those. And we get two these runners, A1 runners. Looks like foot armor here and arm or shoulder armor there. Over here we get a runner. This runner, I don't quite know where these go. I think probably for the ventilation hosing or the weapon hosing. We got a loose part of the backpack. This is molded in this bluish gray, and we get some of the head armor here, backpack armor, and some weapon armor. This is for mounting. Here we get part of the shield, and this looks like part of the EMP whip. We get the sword molded in a clear orange, and we get the cockpit as well. Here we get a runner of foot armor. See a hole for the LEDs. Here's a vernier and knee armor there. And almost identical, except we got another section attached to this chest armor. We get two sword handles. One can be screwed into the hand, and I am not sure if the sword has an LED in it. I do not think it does, but it kind of looks like it might. Here we get some clear parts. Here's some parts to the verniers, and here's the leg armor verniers, like thruster parts, and the visor here, and the eye, and a few other parts that I can't identify right now. Then we get another runner of inner frame parts, again pretty heavy. This looks like a battery compartment here. And the hip armor. So that's a look at the parts. So my impressions of this kit is that It's going to be very interesting to build. If I were to just paint it as is, it would be pretty simple to put together. There's some cleanup stuff, like you can see the mold marks from these pegs, which will have to be cleaned up. This kit is going to need a bunch of detailing and stuff, some panel lining and stuff to really make it look awesome. The LEDs are going to be pretty tricky to get all wired up. I don't think I'll have too much of a problem with it, but some inexperienced modelers will definitely struggle with that. I'll be interested to see what this little circuit actually does, if it blinks or if it fades or something. As far as I can tell, there's a little transistor on there and some sort of IC. I could look up the part and figure out what that does, but yeah. The amount of screws this kit comes with is kind of different. It's a good thing, so it's a sign that this kit is going to be very sturdy, very strong, which is good. I don't think it's going to be sagging under its own weight. And yeah, very interested to see this kit put together. The 47-page manual is pretty intimidating, but get a little part count here. And I'll be picking up the water slides instead of these dry transfers for this kit, just because I think that'll be a lot easier to deal with. But other than that, it should be a very interesting build. Fortunately, I don't have plans to start this anytime soon, but I thought I'd give you guys a quick unboxing, just show you all the parts and pieces. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.